5. I go inside, open the door. There's a lovely young girl, I've never seen her in my life, sitting at a desk. There's a population board, in and out and so on. There's 15 names. There's all the usual signs. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Blah, 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 blah. Don't let me forget about the Talmud, the 3 questions.
Oh, yes.
I said, hi, good evening. She says, good evening, sir. Welcome to the X-Kalay Foundation. How are you? I said, I'm fine, thank you. She says, oh, are you David? I said, yeah. Oh, great, it's so great to meet you. That night, I went downstairs and sitting next to the furnace with a bunch of bridge chairs, I participated in an X-Kalay game, in an encounter group. And X-Kalay had begun. Our 5 people knew what to do. They went to the courts, they went to the prisons, they went to the mental institutions, they went to Portage and Maine. They went to wherever they had to do, and they did what we do best, body snatching. We're in the body business. And they snatched bodies. And they brought them home and they started to work. Now, what about this? This story is unbelievable. About 6 months later, I get a phone call from Earl, my second in command, who's running this place, but out of Montrose Boulevard. David, we've acquired a place out near the university. It'll sleep over 100 people. It has all this meadowland. It's right on the river. It has a woodworking shop. We can do a business. Blah, 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 blah. I said, well, what are you talking about? How did you get that? Well, it belongs to the Oblate missionaries, and they're giving it to us for $1 a year. What? Yes, but the thing is, the head father wants you to come out and sign the papers. Okay, so I fly out, and I come up here. How did they get it, by the way? I must tell you how they got it. They knocked on the door. A cold call, knocked on the door. A nun opens the door. And they say, hello. The nun says, hello, may we help you? And they say, yes, we want your property. 1 moment, please. and they make a pitch to the father, and apparently it works. So I arrive, and I go in the office here. It's a great, big, fat guy in his late 60s smoking a cigar. He's a priest. He's an Oblate missionary. Lovely guy, brilliant, fascinating guy. So we chat, and I say, Father, what you are doing is clearly an enormous act of Christian charity. Forgive me for asking the obvious question, why? And he says, let me ask you a question. I didn't even know he was Jewish. Because you know, how does a Jew answer a question with another question? Well, you look Catholic to me. So he says, let me ask you a question. What is the average age of the people in your program? I said, 26. He said, okay, the average age of the people in my program is 66. He said, we've had 2,000 years of this, and it's been a lot of fun. But we're not getting a lot of people. And we don't have a lot of novitiates, meaning people coming into the priesthood. And we believe that what you are doing is God's work. And he handed me the keys. Wow. Yeah. What you are doing is God's work. I never thought of that. Never occurred to me. Until I spoke to a rabbi friend of mine a few years ago, and he said, David, it is said in the Talmud, if you save one soul, you save the universe. If you save one soul, you save the universe. So each of you, saving yourselves and saving the person sitting next to you, because whether you know it or not, you are tied to the person next to you, because there are no solo swimmers in this river. There are no solo swimmers in this river. Solo swimmers drown. Because you are working on yourself and working on the person next to you, you're doing God's work, whatever that may mean. Anyway, so Winnipeg. I don't know what else to tell you after that, except Winnipeg flourished I didn't have a lot to do with it. I came out here from time to time, ran some programs, conferred with our staff. I lived here for a little while. My wife and son and I lived in the annex, and then we went back to Vancouver and so on. Now I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk about the present and the future, and that'll be the end of this. You've been wonderful and very patient. The present. Jean invited me here. I've been here for 2 days. Mostly, I've been in tears. I'm a very emotional person. I see people. Where's this young lad I talked to? Where's this boy I talked to on the way to the sweat lodge?
James, where are you?
James, are you here? James, are you in this room? Is that him? Yeah, come here. Come here. Yeah, good man. Is this James I talked to? Yeah. Okay. How old are you, James?
18.
18, good man. Come on up. I don't want to call you Miriam, sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
Melanie.
Melody, come on. Let's talk about the present and the future. Okay, Melody. Okay, look, I couldn't possibly have known when I began this crazy activity that I knew nothing about. I had no expertise. I never read a book. I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm a taxi driver. I couldn't possibly have known that 40 years later, Melanie and James would be profiting from it. And for me to think about that makes me crazy. I can't explain why it overwhelms me, but it does. I think it's so impossibly beautiful. I think it's so wonderful. When James came up to me yesterday, we were going to look at the sweat lodge. And James sort of did a double take. And I could see that you wanted to say hello. So I stopped and we said hi and we chatted for a minute. And you don't know this, but when we walked away, I was a basket case. Because you're so enthusiastic. And you're so keen. And I know you're not 200% a wonderful guy. I know there's other sides. I know there's other sides to you. And I know you have struggles. But there is so much of you that is good. There's so much of you that wants to succeed. To think that I did some small thing that results in this, it just kills me. I just think it's very beautiful. And Melanie came up to me today and she started talking to me. And she told me a little bit about her story. This is the present, and this is the future. I'm going to tell you something that my mother taught me. May she rest in peace. It's a very ancient saying. It comes also from the Talmud. And I want some of you, maybe someone in this room will write it down, and maybe next time I visit there will be a sign, okay, on the wall. Because I never learned anything this smart. I never learned anything smarter than this. And my mother taught it to me. It goes like this. It's 3 questions. You ready? If I am not for me, who will be? If for me alone, what am I? If not now, when? Let's go through that again. If I am not for me, who will be? In other words, we can't help you if you're not helping me. We have nothing to offer you if you're fighting yourself. If you are pretending to be here and you're not really in the present, and you think this is all bullshit, and you're just doing it for some other weird reason, we actually can't help you. We can only help you if you are for you. If you actually believe in Melanie and James, and your need, and your want, and your wholehearted, honest desire to become citizens beyond reproach, citizens that a policeman can never stop in the street for any reasons, citizens who vote, citizens who get up in the morning with a purpose, whether it's school, or learning, or work, or our children, whatever it may be. Citizens have purpose. If I am not for me, who will be? That's 1. If for me alone, what am I? That's 2. In other words, there are no solo swimmers in this river.